All right, thank you, Lillian. Can you all hear me? Hope it's clear enough. Okay, as far as smart city is concerned, I think it's a very broad concept, and definitely there's no single definition that fits all. See, smart city is a concept by itself is very wide, and in the Malaysian context, our definition is quite clear in the sense that what we meant by smart city, it means that our cities in Malaysia are cities that will use ICT and technological advancement to address urban issues. That's the main point. We have a lot of urban issues in our country, and we need ICTs, we need technology, we need this advancement to actually assist our cities to improve quality of life and to promote economic growth and to develop sustainable and safe environment, just like rightly mentioned by you just now, and to encourage efficient urban management practices. And this is to help our PBTs to actually manage the cities better, for our citizens. And these four-pronged objectives are very important for our cities to thrive, especially in this pandemic era, and also more so post-COVID-19, because we are looking at empowering societies, we are looking at developing a livable city, a quality city for all. So this is what we want to achieve through smart city. And as you have mentioned just now regarding what is the way forward for us, well, we have been very fortunate because we have actually had our National Smart City Framework developed 2 years ago. So basically, we have a blueprint. So this blueprint is actually a document, I would say it's a living document that will assist all the PBTs to move forward as far as smart city is concerned. It gives us a very clear direction as to how to implement based on the 7 smart city components, because we are concentrating, well, like I say, smart city can be very wide, but we are focusing on 7 main characteristics or components of smart city, which is smart economy. We hope that through smart city, we can move forward in using IC2 to actually enhance economic competitiveness, all right? And then we have smart living, and then we want to ensure that our city is safe, and secure for our of the highest quality for our citizens. And smart environment, as rightly say, we need to protect our environment. We need to make sure that our environment is clean and sustainable. And we need smart people empowering the community so that they can play a role, as far as being together with the PBT as well with the government to ensure that our city is safe and of the highest quality. And of course, we have smart government. We are looking at intergovernment sharing of data, how to enhance analytics of data and so on. And of course, smart mobility. We want to make sure that we have seamless and efficient connectivity. And last but not least, the smart digital infrastructure. This is where we are heading towards, whereby we want to adopt high-speed internet, our broadband, and so on, so that we can actually connect even to the most remotest part of Malaysia. So therefore, the way forward this is part of our national plan, and definitely it is also in the 12 Malaysia plan.
Thank you, Datuk Mary.
So, yeah.
It sounds like a huge task, and where do you think we are today? Are we, in the first baby steps, moving there? And what's needed on the ground by everyone involved in the local authorities to take those steps? Have they been equipped with themselves been equipped with the ICT and the digital infrastructure for them to spearhead these initiatives in their municipalities?
I think yes, to a certain extent, they have now rightly, since we launched our national smart city framework 2 years ago, 2019 in September. we had a lot of engagement with our local authorities. What we did was, even on the launching date itself, we had a series of panelists from those PBTs who have done well, the local councils who have actually implemented Smart City and who have done well. They shared their experiences with the rest, as well as we had a workshop to actually guide them as to how to implement and what needs to be done, and even had a workshop to engage them what they want from their city, how smart they want it to be, which area they're looking at. So basically, for the past 2 years, we have done a lot of awareness programs. So this year onwards, we are going into implementation. And we are very fortunate because Malaysia is part of ASEAN. So we have the ASEAN Smart City Network, whereby 4 cities have been nominated as pilot cities in Malaysia to actually kick off this Smart City initiative, namely Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Kota Kinabalu, and Kuching. We added one more second-tier city, which is Kulim. So basically, we are encouraging these cities to actually move forward as they are pilots. But I was quite surprised that after our engagement with the 153 local authorities, we have been engaging with them, and we received a lot of application from other PBTs to actually, they sort of mentioned that they would like to join in, to be part of this Smart City initiative. And I think initially we have more than 500 applications from the cities themselves, and we could actually streamline and actually all of them. And last year we actually assisted some of them in terms of getting budget from EPU to actually develop their initiative. For example, Kulim, they had started with e-government, we've got some budget for them. And now we have also some of the foreign partners under the ASEAN networks, Smart City Network. We are working with Korea, we're working with Japan, we're working with US and UK, and most of them has actually worked with these 4 pilot cities. So therefore, I think the way forward is good for us, because the PBT themselves are now aware that this Smart City initiative is the way to go in the future, and therefore many of them have started, whether in a small way or a big way, they have actually begun this initiative. And recently we also received some application for Japan. Japan has actually offered us, to give us grants and to assist us technical assistance. We have submitted at least 8 studies, to Japan just last month, in February 2021. And all this came from the cities themselves. So I believe basically the PBT are all geared up and they are ready. Only thing what we need to do is to actually, for us to guide them to move forward in this agenda.
You mentioned, well, it's great to hear actually that that the Smart City framework had laid the seed for this whole movement. Indeed, it is one of the solutions that really addresses many aspects in one go, because it touches on urban planning, touches on connectivity, and thus through that, the community engagement, I think, is very instantly very wide. It's good to hear that also that there is a few of these prototype cities that are leading the charge and doing well. You did say that
some of the cities are also. Yeah, I also want to mention that some of the bigger cities like maybe Putrajaya or Cyberjaya, PJ, Shah Alam, some of the cities have already done well. Even Penang, Malacca, they have taken their own initiatives to actually move forward in the agenda. So that itself has actually motivated the rest of the other PBTs, the smaller PBTs, to actually go along. And I really would encourage, especially those bigger cities, Majlis Bandaraya, they have done well. Yeah, they have taken their own initiative to participate in this agenda.
as you mentioned, because it's very wide, and the whole smart city implementation will need to be tailored to the more specific scale and needs of each PBT, whether it's each municipality, whether it's a smaller, more urbanized, or more rural. How does KPKT help them to customize the implementation framework for the range of the 153 local authorities that we have, that range from very small to large metropolitan urban cities? How do you help them to customize?
Very good question. It all depends on the need of the PBT themselves. All right, I believe no PBT would have the same problem. Okay, certain PBT will have traffic congestion, certain PBT will have water management, certain PBT will have flooding, and it all depends on their need. So this is very interesting because we are not asking the PBT, oh, you must implement this particular smart initiative and so on. Each of them will have to evaluate. What we have set up, we call ourselves the subject matter experts in the smart city. We have 15 members in our team. So what we do is we will look at the proposal given by the PBTs, and we will see what areas we can assist them. For example, if they need funding, they apply to us, and we try to get funding, whether it's from the federal government or from external partners, or even, whichever sources we can help them. If they need technical expertise, we will get the expertise to guide them, because we have expertise within the government, from the different ministries, as well as from the private sector, and of course from Mike, who's very much engaged with the private sector and so on. We would like to actually assist them, even in the area of expertise or technical know-how and so on. So we are not short of, what we need to do is to actually connect them to the right people, connect them. And what is important is the PBT themselves must identify what they need. Some of them, they just need to improve their services to the public. And all they need is just come out with a simple apps, and that itself will do. Or some of them, they may have, they want to make it really big. They have traffic congestions, they want smart traffic lights, or they may have non-revenue water, high, they need to settle their water issues or things like that. So it all depends on each individual, and this is where we want to identify. The national smart city framework is versatile because it gives you different issues and solutions that can be applied. So they can actually take the examples from there and apply it and modify it, adapt it according to their need. So that's why it's a living document, and as well as we want to make it easier for the PBT to look at their issues. They have to identify what they want.
Indeed, sounds like a big task, managing them, and first having to customize, and then also having to, you also would need to, for the long-term objective, to create that almost national database that will link all of them. You also need to finally bring them together as well. If we are moving towards blockchain,
we engage them quite often because under JKT, we have a periodical engagement with all the PBT according to zone. I actually went down to the ground to actually explain to them how this works, and we have our even our agencies under us, like Plan Malaysia, even Urbanese, and they go down to the ground as well to explain and to actually engage with the PBT. So I don't think they are short of the knowledge right now. Now is the implementation part, and this year is called the implementation year. So we are looking forward to we are now updating the profiling of all the PBTs and what they need. So we hope that by doing this, we can actually align them to what their requirements are, to the experts and so on. Yeah.
I think the support framework setup is very comprehensive. One last question before we move to the next panelist. We often hear that some areas, especially in the rural areas, are still not just getting basic services to allow them to connect in. We had the very classic and now global story of Viviana taking her exam on the trees. How can KPKT, how can the government manage some of these service providers, which are individual private service providers, that they need to extend services to areas where the returns are not there. I have friends in Langkawi who live just a little bit off the main road and have no internet for the kids' education, for the kids online during the pandemic. How does the KPKT and the government manage to engage these such that they will go past what their SOP or criteria may do to ensure there is coverage across, even if there's just one family in an area?
Yeah, I think that is what the, under the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure development comes directly under KKMM. But nonetheless, recently, I think the government has launched the Jendela, and I think this is a very comprehensive expansion of a network to all nook and corners of Malaysia, and we hope to achieve 5G, 4G, total 4G throughout the country, and this is in the pipeline. And I think the government per se is going to take it very seriously to make sure that every household will have access to internet, even to the remotest part of Malaysia. But nonetheless, like I say, once we roll out and implement smart city, I believe the rural areas will also then follow suit, because this is where nobody wants to be left behind under the sustainable development goals.